Okay. So today I'm going to be joined by freshman catcher, Francis Kiely. Francis, you go by Ike, and
Yes, sir.
you're from Falmouth, Maine. You're a freshman. You just won the starting job, which I know there was some stuff going on behind the scenes, and that position's been a little bit up in the air. But you not only got the starting job, but you've been performing very well the first two games. Um, your first collegiate hit was a home run. We're going to take a look at that today, but I appreciate you coming and talking with me. As I told the guys before you, I really, really like getting inside the team, being able to talk to you guys about what's going on the field. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna start with the first at bat from game two. So you guys won the first game 2-1, and then the second game got a little bit out of hand in your favor pretty quick. But you didn't know that at this point. So you step up to the plate. This is Josh Yellen hitting in front of you. It's a 1-0 game, and the bases are loaded. So I'm just gonna honestly ask you kind of like, what's your routine when you're on deck? What are you thinking? What do you know about this guy? Like, what kind of approach are you taking into this next at bat?
So this guy was interesting. He was a lefty, coming out early, specifically with the righties, Brick and Yellen before me. He was starting out with an outside fastball, and then he was doing this little flippy backdoor slider that he was just dumping into the outside corner. Guys were having a tough time picking it up. So my only thought was, I'm just gonna sit on that pitch. I know it's gonna come. I know it's gonna be tough to hit. So I'm just gonna sit, keep my everything closed, and try and hit it to the opposite field. Um, so he did throw me that dinky slider. It came a little bit more inside than I thought. So I was able to turn on it. Got a good barrel. Just hung up a little bit in the air. And
Okay, so I'm gonna
making
I'm
a good
gonna
catch.
roll this here. So we got Yellen at the plate. It's 1-1. So he ends up going down looking in the at bat. So I'm not sure if kind of like that the at bat before you ever influences the way you think. But like when you see a guy like Yellen who's a good hitter, kind of taking a high fastball, going down looking, does that change your approach, or do you just stick with what you're thinking?
Yeah, that was really what kind of keyed me in to say, all right, this guy's throwing something that's tough to pick up. Like you said, Yellen's a great hitter. He's got a great eye. So if he's looking at something, it's generally it's going to be really tough to hit. So luckily, we picked up early on that backdoor slider. So that's really what I was going in looking for.
So I asked Brick the other day, but I also like to take a look at kind of like where you're situated in the box. So it looks like you're a little bit in front of that back line. It looks like your front foot is almost lined up with the front of the plate. Do you have the same place in the box every time, or does that fluctuate based on lefty righty? This guy's throwing gas, this guy's not. How does that work?
It's mostly a velocity thing, depending where I am front and back. I moved up a little bit for this guy. I wasn't throwing anything that was going to blow by me. I knew that coming in. You can see my stance is a little bit closed, and that's just a lefty because I know he's going to stay on the outside of that plate, and I want to match that plane and really try and rip it opposite field or up the middle.
So we got an 0 count here, bases loaded. And then I'm going to ask you a question about kind of hitting with runners in scoring position after. So we see, was that a ball or a strike? Was that a ball or a strike?
That was a high ball.
High ball. So you're at 1-0. You got bases loaded. So what Sean told me the other day was he kind of does, but not necessarily have an approach with hitting and runners in scoring position. He doesn't really change the way he hits. What's that like for you? You come up with bases loaded versus no one on. Does that change, or you got the same approach?
Yeah, I mean, it changes every at bat. Sean's such a great hitter that his job was always to mash. For me, a little bit lower in the order. I'm always trying to think little bit more how can I help the team get through, whether that be a sacrifice fly or what may be. In this scenario is 2 outs, so we really had the similar approach. I was trying to drive something hard up the middle. But Coach Noon does a great job with our guys kind of talking about situational hitting, and Sean's such a smart hitter. I'm sure he had a great approach coming into it too.
So we got 1-0 here. Of course, you want to get yourself an account. You can get up in the count. If you did notice in the majority of your at-bats today, you did get up in the count. And I know that that's something that's super important, especially at the college level. Be sure that you don't dig yourself in holes. So we'll see what happens here. 1-0.
Yeah, that was
So
just a
that
nice, outside fastball that he picked up well.
and how did you feel? Did that look like you expected it to look, or did that look a little bit different?
Yeah, no, it came in kind of how I expected it to. I knew I didn't want to swing too early in the count, trying to see a few pitches, trying to get a feel for this guy. So I let that one go, but yeah, it was a good pitch, and it was right over the plate.
I think a good take too. I don't think that necessarily was the 1-0 pitch you were looking for.
Let's see what happens here. So that was that backdoor slider.
That was the slider.
That was the slider that kind of comes in and just catches that outside corner.
And so again, was that expected? How the slider was supposed to look? Was different, or was that how you expected it to look?
Yeah, it was probably even a little bit better than I expected it to look, but I knew I didn't want to swing on that in a 1-1 count. That's kind of pitch that you only really want to swing at if you're down to 2 strikes and you're trying to fight it off. It's really hard to barrel that pitch up. So I just kind of had to spit on that one and let it go.
So now you're in protect mode a little bit, but not too much because you're a good hitter, so you don't necessarily need to be defensive, but making sure that you're protecting the zone. It's a good take.
That was the same pitch. You just couldn't get it to come back into the zone. Fortunately for me,
that was the slider.
Same slider, just didn't cut back enough.
Yeah, that's a good take because you must have been seeing that well to know that more or likely was probably coming. I'm not sure if you were sitting that pitch, if you like to sit certain pitches or you like to just see it hit it, but you must have picked that up well to take that at 1-2. You must have seen it out of his hand.
Yeah, and he did the same thing with the 2 hitters before me, so I assumed that was just his game plan for all righties. I figured he was going to try and come back with that slider. That was probably his out pitch.
Okay.
So that's what I was definitely looking out for.
So now we're in a 2-2, bases loaded, 2 outs. You're 1 swing away from making something big happen. So let's see what happens on this 2-2. It's a good swing. Is that a fastball?
Yep, fastball. Little late on it just because I was still looking for that slider, but yeah, that was definitely a pitch I wish I could have had back, but can't look in the past too much.
I mean, we're gonna go back just for a quick second and take another look at that swing, just because I'll put it down in slow motion. But that looks like you said, maybe a little bit late, but I'm not sure that's what you would say a pitch you could have back because you took a good swing. You just kind of missed it.
Yeah, like I said, I was still looking for that slider, and you made a good fastball. So, it was part of the approach, but yeah, that was especially in 2 strikes. That's one that's tough to let go.
Yeah, no, that's a good swing, especially because you do have that slider in the back of the head. If you're sitting fastball there on that lefty, like you said, you're probably barreling that pitch up. So when I was watching the game, I thought that I thought that was going to get Seagrass for sure.
Yeah, frankly, off the bat, so did I.
Because that was more or less pretty much barreled, I would say.
Yep, and sometimes that's just hitting. That's just kind of what happens. Even if you make a good contact, like that left fielder made a great play, nice running catch. So, what are you gonna do?
So you're in a 2-2 here. Was that the slider or is that a fastball?
That was the slider again, and he just left it a little bit over the plate, broke right back into the middle of the zone, and I was able to get a good piece of barrel on it.
Yeah, so no, I really thought during the game that was down, and then looking back at it before you hopped on here, same thing. I thought that I was like, that was smoke. That ball was smoke. So going into your next at bat, you must be feeling good. So Yelly's here, a ball right through that 6 hole. So you're coming up with a runner on first, bottom of the third. Is this the same arm on the mound?
No, actually, this is Owen Radcliffe. I actually played with him 2 summers ago. So I caught him all the time, knew him pretty well. So it was fun to kind of hit against someone I knew, but I also knew his tendencies. I knew he had a great curveball, a little bit of a zip on his fastball, so something to look out for.
Yeah, so I mean, right there essentially is kind of just you using your baseball knowledge and your baseball wits to get an advantage in this at bat, because as we're going to see, you clearly use that advantage in your favor. So we're gonna take a look at what happens here. But you, like you said, you know my name, so you know his tendencies. You're up in this spot. You're feeling good. You're coming off a barrel, and you dig back into the box. So are you in the same spot in the box, or are you a little bit further back?
Yeah, maybe a little bit further back, but for the most part, the same spot. I know
Yeah.
this guy isn't gonna blow anything by me. Nothing crazy. So that's generally where I feel comfortable.
So again, you're up in the count, 1-0. And the question that I want to ask you before we see the outcome of this at bat is, being a freshman, a first year on the Babson team. Babson's a very, very highly touted Division III program, very highly ranked this year. So do you have to at any point during these two games remind yourself to just kind of like stay within yourself, kind of take deep breaths, relax, or does that come easy to you? Or is that something that you have to train yourself to do?
No, very much so. There were certainly times where it was kind of surreal. I mean, like you said, this is such a great team, and all the guys made it so easy for me to come out there and really encouraging and whatnot. Jordy in the first game, really encouraging, understanding, just being on the mound. So it was really fun to work with those guys and whatnot. So they made it quite a bit easier. But by the second game, I started to kind of feel my breath coming back, kind of got my legs under me and was ready to work.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. And I would expect that out of Jordy being the leader, but that kind of like maybe took what, a couple innings, and then you were like, this is baseball.
Right. Yeah. It's just a bit of an adjustment period.
So up 1-0 in this count. Good swing.
Yep. That was just a fastball, high fastball. I've struggled with that pitch a little bit in the past, but he threw a great pitch and it was right where I was looking for. Just didn't connect.
It looks like even on the balls that you just missed, that foul ball and this swing where it's a swing and miss, it doesn't look like you often take bad swings. It looks like even your swings and misses and even the balls that you don't barrel, they look like good swings. Is that something where you kind of just you trust your approach and you just put your A swing out there every time, or how does that work where you try to always take that A swing?
I got to give credit to Noon on that one. He does a great team approach of just saying, well, I mean, if you're gonna swing, make it a good swing. Try not to second guess yourself. If you're gonna go, and if not, don't swing at all.
Yeah.
Um, so he's done a great job coaching the team with that, and I was just trying to take that to heart.
Okay, so we got a 1-1. I like to hear a lot that this is the biggest pitch of the game, day. Win the 1-1. 1-2 versus 2-1 is a pretty big difference in a college at bat. So here we are.
I remember just thinking that I think I said it out loud. I just remember thinking like, damn, that was a good pitch.
Yeah.
A great breaking ball. It broke right over the middle. Definitely not something I'm looking to hit 1-1, but it was certainly a strike. So hats off to him. That was just a great pitcher's pitch.
Yeah. So you got up 1-0 in both of these counts, and then you got down 1-2 in both of these counts. So as a hitter in the box right now, throughout your career and as at the college level right now, when you get to this 1-2 count, do you have to what's your approach? Because I know that the last two outcomes, the first one wasn't a hit, but it was barreled, and this is going to be a hit. And so you dig yourself into a hole and then come out of that hole. What are a couple of tips that you would give someone like me if I were to step in the box 1-2 to kind of maintain that approach?
I think the first thing is thinking about situational baseball. So you have Yelly on first, and you certainly don't want to knock into a double play. So that's certainly on the top of my head right here. If I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss under it, try and get a fly ball. But really, you also have to realize I still don't think this guy is anything good enough to really beat me that I can't put my hands on, having that confidence in the back of your head that you can always beat this guy in any count and try and work it back into your favor. Try and make sure you're still not swinging at bad pitches. Try not to get over antsy, but recognize it's still baseball. He still has to throw it to you. So kind of recognizing that you're still in favor and that make sure that if you're going to miss, you're going to miss right.
This dude have a good move.
Yeah, I mean, he had a pretty good move. Yelly's a pretty smart base runner, as you can see in the next pitch. But yeah, he's an athletic guy. They threw out a lot of young guys out there, so I was impressed to see some of their composure.
So that's the another breaking ball?
That was just that curve again, and I just got a little bit piece of it. Luckily, their catcher didn't snag it, put leather under it. But yeah, you know what? Frankly, he beat me with that pitch, and I got fortunate to put a little bit of the bat on it, get myself another chance.
So I think, yep, I see the fall work from the. You see a guy go to his knees and you're taking off. I see that paying off for Yelly there. When I was watching this before you hopped on, I remember thinking, I was like, it's always so good to see that work paying off because that's just practice and practice. When you see the catcher going to two knees, just take off.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard it 100 times from Noon too, where that's his big thing, base running. He preaches it day and night. I think we did a great job with it, especially in the second game, to kind of be heads up on those and to gain those extra base runners.
So that almost helps you in this situation too, because now you have a guy on second, is worried about the double play. You got a runner in scoring position. So you're looking to put something into grab there. You can get that RBI. And I mean, this is the big pitch, the 2-2.
Definitely. And if I know that if I'm gonna miss, I'm gonna try and miss to that right field fly ball so I can at least get him over to third and do a scoring position. Yeah, man, that was great. As you know, Noon's pretty quiet, pretty stone cold. So it was nice to kind of get a high five, little compliment going around those bases. But hearing all the guys jump up and down and getting the back slaps and whatnot coming off of that was an awesome way to start off the college career.
So that was your first collegiate hit. It went over the fence, and it was more or less because of your approach. I mean, you just told me you were thinking miss fly ball away, get him to third, but you're a good enough hitter. You have enough power, and clearly we can see that you get your barrel to the baseball. That you got a ball to leave the yard. So I mean, that's such an incredible moment. And I remember seeing I didn't get to see this live, but I remember seeing like an Instagram highlight, and I was like, "Oh, so he's like that? Like he's really like that?" Because no, I didn't know until today that you were going to be manning the catching position. Neither did I know that you were going to be a guy that's going to be contributing in the way that you are. Because I mean, this is not a blip by any means, and I'm not afraid to say that. Where you're with the approach that you have and the mentality that you have. I expect you, and I think you expect yourself to continue producing at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, whatever I can do to kind of bring value here. Like I said, this is an awesome position for me to be in, and I really love this team and whatnot. So whatever I can do to help my pitchers behind the plate or offensively is fine by me. So yeah, I was happy to see it go over. So that was just icing on top. It was great.
Do you know how many career home runs you have or not?
Yeah, that was number 7.
Number 7. All right. So not like you are just putting balls over the fence all the time, but you're getting barrels to the baseball. So that must have felt really good.
Yeah, it's certainly they were few and far between enough for that to be really special.
Yeah.
That certainly wasn't my role coming in, but it was awesome to be able to contribute in that way.
So I also wanted to pick out one of the defensive highlights. You had a couple of instances where you threw out runners today, but I wanted to pick one because it almost goes to what we were just talking about the ball in the dirt, just take off. And usually Coach New says that because a catcher isn't going to throw you out. Like he's just not either talented enough, doesn't have enough time, the dude's too fast or whatever. But we're going to see here with 2 outs in the 4th inning. I mean, it's a 5-0 game here, so not saying it doesn't mean as much. But if this is a 1-0 game and you're trying to save Jordy pitches, play like this is huge. A play like this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I pride myself on defensively. So it's something that I expect out of myself, and I know Noon and expects out of us. And again, it's just like you said, bringing less pitches to, in this case, tees right here, but getting out of the inning a little bit quicker and stopping a little bit of momentum is huge.
So before we see this, I actually wanted to ask you, um, have you been a lifelong catcher?
Yep. Yeah. Since about the second grade.
Second grade.
Always
And
in my position.
is that was that your main kind of position sport wise? Did you ever play basketball, football? Like, did you have other sports in high school, or was it you're a catcher?
Yeah, I mean, I played basketball and played a little bit of soccer growing up, but it was always life was revolved around catching, and I think that actually helped in other facets of the game, kind of my hip flexibility, playing basketball and whatnot. Um, but yeah, it's always been centered around catching. I love the art of catching. I know we have 3 or 4 other guys on the roster who also love catching just as much as I do. So it's so much fun to go back and forth with Reynolds and Moby, talking about some of these facets of the game. But yeah, it's always been behind the dish for me.
So that's a ball that's down in the dirt. He's out by.
Yeah. I didn't go to my knees on that one. It wasn't quite a full on block, but I guess he just he saw it in the dirt and he kind of read it as a go. So fortunately I had it right in my glove. Was able to make a quick transfer and make a solid throw.
So I mean, that's by no means an easy pitch to handle.
Yeah, I mean, Teves has a great two-seamer, so when it's in the dirt, you always get a little nervous because that thing can really dart away.
And he's off. He didn't get necessarily a bad jump either. Like he's off.
Yeah, no, that may have been a delayed steal. Looking at it now, just because he, like you said, he did have it looked like he was going from the jump. Um, but yeah, I was happy I could get my feet set, get through it, and make a good throw to get Teves out of that inning.
Yeah. So I mean, you're coming off the field, you're getting the high fives. This is an inning after you. This is the inning right after you just hit a home run. So you're on cloud nine right now. And I'm honestly super happy we got the chance to talk today because just seeing kind of like you be able to see that home run and give it a little smile is awesome because I know you've been working hard and it's definitely not easy to hit college pitching. So I wish you the best and I appreciate you coming and talking with me today. And I'll be watching tomorrow. And if you have another big moment, you can come back and talk to me. All right.
Yeah, thank you, man. This is a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Take care and good luck tomorrow.
All right, awesome. Have a good one. Start.
Yeah, so that's a fantastic moment. I don't want to flex or anything, but I just hit my first career home run this summer, and it was in a meaningless league, just a summer league, just like a Legion league, and it felt like I was on top of the world. So I can't imagine how that felt for Ike. Super proud of him. I know he's going to contribute great things to the team the rest of the year, and I do appreciate him coming and talking to me. You can clearly see he knows the game of baseball, and that's exactly what I'm trying to encapsulate here, and just kind of get myself involved with and stay involved with dudes like kind of like myself who just love the game and just want to keep growing and seeing the game and watching themselves play back. So again, thank you. I think I might be talking to another player today. So if I do, look forward to that. But until then, thanks for tuning in and until next time.